And now, ever since The Walking Dead Destinies was announced a couple of weeks back, I've been having a lot of ideas of potential what-if storylines that they could actually go with. And, these are ideas that I want to make videos of, right? Like, just each topic I want to make separate videos of them. But, I thought that, I could give them the short version in this video. And if you guys want, like, full-length videos of these ideas, please comment down below. But other than that, I hope you all enjoy. And now, before we actually get into the video, I'd like to ask you all to like, share, and subscribe. And again, thank you guys so much for the growth. Thank you guys so much for the support. And we have a goal in mind for 5,000 subscribers. So if you guys want to be part of this journey to 5,000 subscribers, please like, share, and subscribe and enjoy the video. Thank you. And now, this first idea I actually came up with is most likely going to be in the game, right? And that's, what if the governor killed Michonne? And of course, like, the governor killing Herschel was a huge moment in the show, right? And with the governor actually being playable in the game, I think you might get three options. You either might get the options to kill Herschel, right? And then like it just goes from there, like how the show does. Or you kill Michonne, and then it's probably a different outcome to that. Or the governor actually listens to Rick or Shane, right? It depends who is there, right? So if you're still like as Rick, if Rick is the one to survive in that option where you could either kill Rick or Shane, it'd be very interesting to for Rick to do his speech in that moment and for the governor to actually listen to him. And I think we might get control of that. We might get three different options where we could either kill Herschel, Michonne, or we could team up with Rick. And now with this outcome, like, if the governor actually listened to Rick, right, this outcome alone would be a drastic change. And I do believe that, of course, like, the prison would be safe, the prison would be up, but like, how would they actually get out of the prison? Now, I think that because in the show, like, Abraham, Eugene, and Rosita, all of them were actually around the area where the prison was, right? And it does seem like that they're actually on their way towards, like, the direction of the prison. It is likely that, they actually do come across the prison, and then they convince the group to actually go with them to Washington. And I think that they would agree, of course, right? Like how it was in the comics, right? Abraham, Eugene, and Rosita, they actually do go to Herschel's farm, right? Like after like the governor is dead and after they escape the prison, they go back to the farm, and then they come to the farm, and then they actually do convince, like, Rick and the rest of the group to actually go with them to Washington. And I think that we might be able to do something like that. But again, speaking of Abraham, it's very weird that Abraham's not playable in this game. So again, like, this game could end at the very end of season 4, like, when they actually do get captured at a terminus, or it could probably like end like midway season 4 when, like, of course, the governor actually does kill Herschel, and then it's the end of the governor arc. That is very likely also. So again, it is a very likely chance that we either might see terminus, but also it's also likely that we might not be able to even see Terminus, and maybe not even Abraham, and the game might actually end where, like, the governor actually does kill Herschel. And like, I hope that they don't go with that. I hope they at least go up until Terminus, right? Because I don't think that they were specific on what part of season 4 does it end, right? It only says season 1 to season 4. So yeah, I hope that's the entirety of season 4, because that was an amazing season, and just playing through that alone would actually be great. And now, if the governor were to kill Michonne, right, I don't know how that would end, because again, like in the show, Michonne is the one that actually ends up killing the governor. So, I think in this situation right here, either Rick will get the best of the governor, or Tara will actually end up killing the governor. And how this might happen is that if Lori actually does end up surviving throughout the prison, right, and then they actually do mirror, like, the comics where, like, the governor ends up killing Lori, and then maybe Tara is the one to actually kill the governor. But if Lori is dead, then, like, I could either see any character, like, killing the governor, right? And if Shane were, of course, in that situation, I think Shane would kill the governor pretty easily. But yeah, like, my best bet would be that Tara would end up killing the governor. Or, like, the other character that could actually end up killing the governor is Lily, right? And again, if they want to really mirror the comics, like, they should make her kill off the governor fully, because in the show, of course, like, she was the one that actually put the governor down, but Michonne's the one that actually stabbed him. Now, if if the situation were that if Michonne was dead, like if the governor actually did kill Michonne, I think Lily or Tara might end up killing the governor. And you know, it's just me that's thinking that. I mean, if you guys have any other ideas, please comment down. Maybe Daryl could end up killing the governor. That would be pretty cool. Or maybe Carl, right? And, you know, the possibilities for this game is endless. And now another topic I want to talk about, like another what if I want to talk about for this game, is actually two moments in this show, like in season 1 and also in season 3. And that is Morgan. And of course, we know in the first season, Morgan actually doesn't end up going with Rick, right? He goes his own way, he goes back home, and Rick actually goes and looks for Lori and Carl. Now, you know, they can make a what if on what if Morgan actually does end up going with Rick. And of course, you know, so far we know that Morgan is not playable in this game. You know, that could change, right? Because a lot of characters are not playable. That actually makes sense to be playable, right? You know, for example, like Maggie, Morgan, Abraham, right? All of these characters should be playable. Also Tyrese, right? Tyrese should be playable. Sasha should be playable, right? These characters should be playable, but you know, they're not in the roster. Again, they could be hiding that from us, right? And again, it's a big possibility that these characters could be DLC, right? We could play as them in an expansion of some sort. But you know, I think the character that actually makes the most sense to actually play as is Morgan, right? And you know, you could get it like an option in, like, you know, that first season, right? Like when Rick actually does end up going his own way, right? And he tries convincing Morgan to come back with him. Now, again, like, you know, this possibility is that, like, if Morgan actually ended up going with Rick, and this would of course lead into Dwayne not dying, right? At least not dying that early on, right? He could die at the camp, he could die at Herschel's farm, he could be the one that goes missing, right? And then Morgan could, that could be a way for Morgan to go into his clear phase, is that instead of Sophia, it's actually Dwayne that actually gets, like, lost, right? And that would be very cool, right? And Dwayne and Carl actually having some sort of friendship, right? These two becoming friends, like close friends. And also Morgan, like, you know, being in the camp and being with all these characters and meeting Shane, meeting Daryl, like it would be very, very cool to have Morgan actually go back with Rick. And now, you know, I actually want to talk about, like, that point of Dwayne being lost instead of Sophia. And there's so many possibilities going on, right? Because again, like, you know, one of the big possibilities that you could actually do in this game is that you could save Sophia, right? And Sophia doesn't end up dying, and how that changed the story, right? So if Morgan were to actually go with Rick, and if Dwayne were the one to be lost, and then they were to find him in the farm, right? And then from there, like, you know, we actually see Morgan's reaction, right? And then everyone feels like, you know how Sophia, when she, like, was revealed to be a walker and she was already dead, everyone felt like sad and disappointed and down. And then we see Morgan going into his clear phase. That would be insanely cool, right? And then either Morgan goes off in his own ways into the woods, or like he just goes ballistic and insane, and then like everyone tries calming him down, but he doesn't end up calming down. That'd be very cool as well, right? And you know, just but me personally, like, you know, I would have Dwayne survive, right? But again, like, Morgan's character is so good because he's lost everything, and then he goes into his clear phase, and then he was able to pull himself back out. So I want to see, like, you know, how would Morgan actually go into his clear phase for the first time, right? Because we didn't see that in the show, right? When Dwayne actually did die, we didn't even see Dwayne dying, right? So if they were to do like an expansion of some sorts that we actually do see Dwayne dying, or if we see this possibility of Morgan actually going back with Rick to the camp, right? Then Dwayne actually dying in the farm arc. Again, like, that'd just be really cool, and yeah, I think that they should totally go for that. And now, you know, the other possibility I want to talk about for Morgan is, what if Morgan actually ended up going to the prison with Rick in season 3? And as we all know, like, you know, Rick, Michonne, and Carl, they actually ended up going back to their old neighborhood in Atlanta, and then they actually stumble upon Morgan, right? And Morgan's already in his clear phase, he's all like crazy and stuff like that, and then Rick actually does try convincing Morgan to come back with him. Now, this possibility is that what if Rick was actually able to convince Morgan, and then Morgan actually ends up going back to the prison with Rick. And now this right here would be a very cool possibility, because again, we would see Morgan in the war with the governor, Morgan actually meeting the governor, right? And that would be really, really cool as well. But I do believe that they would put Morgan in a secluded area in the prison, and that's only because Rick would see him as a threat because of his clear phase. But then, you know, with Morgan being around so many people, like, you know, around Carl, around Carol, around all of these characters that have like very positive energy, right? You know, these characters trying to cheer him up, these characters trying to pull him out of that phase. I think Morgan would actually end up, like, you know, getting pulled back out from his clear phase and, you know, actually fighting for the group, and that would be very, very cool as well. And now Morgan versus the governor, I personally think that Morgan would actually get the best of the governor, right? And that's because his clear phase is just that insane, right? And so far, like, as we know in the show, when Morgan was actually out, right, you know, after Rick actually left him in that prison arc, right, in season 3, Morgan was actually going around and killing so many people, and then he actually came across the cheesemaker. Now, if Morgan were to still be in his clear phase when he's actually versing the governor, I think that would be a fight I would love to see. And personally, when it comes to Morgan getting out of his clear phase, I think Herschel would be the character to get him out of his clear phases. That's because Herschel is so good at talking with people, right? He's very open with people. He's kind of like the therapist of the group, right? And again, it would be very cool to see Herschel interacting with Morgan in the prison arc, right? And of course, Herschel does remind me a lot of the cheesemaker, right? You know, but both of these guys have really good morals, right? And again, like, I personally think that Herschel would actually take his time and actually spend time with Morgan and actually try getting him out of that clear phase. And I think Morgan would actually listen to Herschel, right? And then he would actually get out of that clear phase in some way. So again, Herschel and Morgan interacting would be very, very cool to see as well. And now that's it for today's video, and I do have a lot more ideas for this game, like the different possibilities that they could go with. So if you guys want to see another part of this video, please comment down below, right? And also, you guys give your own theories and ideas for this game, right? It's coming out November the 14th, last I remember. So yeah, the game is very close, right? It's about like a month and a half, like 2 months away. So yeah, again, if you guys want to see more content about this game, please comment down, like the video, and subscribe. It really goes a long way. I really appreciate your guys' support. I've been reading all the nice comments you guys have been leaving me, and I really, really appreciate it. This growth is all because of you guys. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching.